Umbria is a region in central Italy. It is located between Lazio, Marca, and Tuscany, making it the only Italian region that does not have its own sea coast or a border with foreign countries. This fact gives Umbria a charm all its own. The wonderful landscape is characterized by beautiful river courses and lakes, medieval villages and towns, as well as rolling hills, mountains and valleys. That is why Umbria is rightly called the Green Heart of Italy. Umbria offers its visitors wonderful landscapes and an unspoiled way of life. The atmosphere is relaxed, the architectural monuments crumble away charmingly. Here, away from the big tourist crowds in Rome or Florence, you can still find the original, authentic Italy, full of friendly people who warmly welcome their guests. Let's take a look at Umbria's greatest sights. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for your support. Perugia is the capital of the province of the same name and with about 170,000 inhabitants, both the largest city and the capital of the Umbria region. The historic city centre is located on a 493 meters high hill and probably dates back to the Umbrians or the Etruscans, who established a settlement there as early as the 9th or 8th century BC. Within the medieval city walls you can stroll through narrow streets and discover many interesting museums and cultural monuments. Combined with the two city universities and many cultural events of international importance, they create a very pleasant cosmopolitan, lively atmosphere in the city. Narni experienced its splendor and flowering in the Middle Ages. In the historical center there are squares, churches, public buildings and numerous narrow streets covered with cobblestones, on which the stately palaces rise. You will immediately notice the imposing and solid fortress of Old Norse and the characteristic Augustus Bridge from the Roman period. Narni hides part of its beauties underground. If you come to the city, you must see Narni underground. Clubs, cisterns and galleries closely linked to the history of the city. Have you read or seen the Chronicles of Narnia? Here the author C.S. Lewis was inspired by this small Umbrian town. Narnia is not quite the imaginary city. Located southeast of Perugia and surrounded by olive groves, the name of Deruta comes from Deruta, which means ruined. It refers to the year 40 BC, when Emperor Ottaviano burned Perugia and the inhabitants of Perugia, fleeing from the fire, settled on this hill. Deruta is one of the most beautiful villages in Italy. The presence of clay in the area was the cornerstone of the commercial and artisan life of the village. For centuries the talented Vasai, the name given to the craftsmen who work with ceramics, have been able to feed their families with their works. What once began with utensils and amphorae, soon developed further. Even today you can find many families in which from grandfather to the current generation all work in the family business. Norcia, a town located 170 north of Rome, is part of the Monte Sibillini National Park and is also known for its rich cultural heritage. Norcia was founded by the Indo-European Sabines, who rivaled the Romans and were native to the Sabine mountains of the Apennines. It was not until the late Middle Ages that Norcia's city walls, which have survived to the present day, were built, and it advanced to become a commercial city. From the 15th to the 19th century it was part of the Stato Pontificio, Papal States. From 1860 it belonged to the Kingdom of Italy. Must-sees in Norcia are the well-preserved city walls, with their impressive gates, and the Benedictine monastery of San Benedetto. Saint Benedict, founder of the order, was once born in Norcia. Todi is situated on a hill, a small medieval town in Umbria that you must see. A small jewel with narrow medieval streets and churches that are works of art. Todi may not be the most famous town in the Umbria region, but a trip there is always worthwhile. Explore the picturesque location and interesting buildings from the Middle Ages. The location of the town on the top of the hill has meant that the town has not expanded much in recent centuries, and on the whole has largely retained its old appearance. The old city walls still stand in many places, and the area around Piazza del Popolo is very beautiful. Piazza del Popolo has also served as a backdrop for countless films over the decades, including Cleopatra. The small town of Orvieto has about 21,000 inhabitants and is located on a plateau of tufa rock in southwestern Umbria, not far from the border with Lazio. It was one of the most important cities in Umbria in the Middle Ages and a temporary seat of the popes, when Clement VII had to flee there in 1527 after Rome was sacked. Although the military airport there was destroyed during the Second World War, the city remained intact. Thus, its most important monuments and buildings were preserved. Lake Trasimeno, with an area of 128 square kilometers and a shoreline of 54 kilometers, is the largest lake in Umbria and the fourth largest lake in Italy. It is located about 20 kilometers west of Perugia and is one of the most popular recreational areas in Umbria. Around the lake there are many bathing establishments, campsites and recreational or sports facilities. In the lake itself there are also 3 islands, of which Isola Maggiore and Isola Povas can be reached by boat. Isola Minori, on the other hand, may not be entered. The largest and most famous village on the lake is Castiglione del Lago. It is one of the most beautiful places in Italy. The Monte Sibillini National Park is a national park of about 70,000 hectares in the Italian regions of Marca and Umbria and includes large parts of the Sibillini Mountains. Places of particular interest in the Monte Sibillini are the mountain lake Lago di Pilotto, the Plateau Pien Grande di Castelluccio di Norcia, and the municipalities of Visso and Preci. The highest mountains in the Monte Sibillini National Park include Monte Vettori, Cima del Redentore, and Monte Sibilla. In October 2016, unfortunately, an earthquake hit the Monte Sibillini, so some places in the territory of the national park were more or less destroyed. In the larger towns, however, the tourist infrastructure has been largely restored. The small town of Gubbio is located about 30 kilometers northeast of Perugia and is the sixth largest city in Umbria, with about 32,000 inhabitants in its urban area. It is situated at an altitude of 522 meters on the slopes of Mount Ingino in the Apennines and has always been an important commercial center of Umbria due to its position on the Scheggia Pass on the way from the Tyrrhenian Sea to the Adriatic Sea. The medieval city centre is characterized by narrow streets and Gothic buildings. The most outstanding building is the Palazzo dei Consoli, which houses the Ecuvinian tablets, in Piazza Grande. The marble waterfall, Cascata del Marmore, is a three-part man-made waterfall located about 5 kilometers east of the town of Terni. There, the Velino River flows into the Nera River. With a total height of 165 meters, it is the highest waterfall in Umbria, the second largest in Italy and the highest man-made waterfall in the world. The most beautiful viewpoint at the Marble Fall is considered to be the Balcone degli Innamorati, Balcony of the Lovers, which can only be reached via a 50-meter tunnel. On a southern slope of Monte Sabasio in the province of Perugia lies the picturesque town of Spello with 8,500 inhabitants. Its pink limestone houses, nested roofs and intact city walls are visible from afar. The flower-filled alleys are only discovered once you are in the town. Spello is also one of the most beautiful villages in Italy. Spoleto is the fifth largest city in the region with about 40,000 inhabitants. It is located about 20 kilometers northeast of Terni and was once the most important center of power and trade in southern Umbria. Even today, many of the city's buildings bear witness to its historical importance during the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. Among the most important sites are the Cathedral of Santa Maria Assunta, the Roman bridge Ponte del Torri, and the huge fortress Rocca Albornoziana, which used to be a prison and now houses a museum. The city's cobblestone streets and historic buildings are also the backdrop for the international music, art and cultural event Festival dei Due Mondi. Assisi is located about 20 kilometers east of Perugia and is one of the most important places of pilgrimage in Umbria, Italy, and Christianity. The city is the birthplace of Saint Francis of Assisi, founder of the Friars Minor, or the current Franciscan order, and Saint Clare of Assisi, founder of the Order of the Poor Clares. With its well-preserved medieval city walls and the ruins of the Rocca Maggiore fortress, Assisi has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2000.